Hello Facebook viewers, welcome to today's business segment on the Zip page. And you may be aware to say on this page we'll be discussing quite a number of areas that affect would-be entrepreneurs and those that are already entrepreneurs on how we can grow our businesses into not only local businesses but multinational businesses. In the previous discussion, we tried to look at, like for instance, why we have so many multinational companies here in Zambia. For instance, we have a lot of retail outlets and also companies that have set their base here in our country, Zambia. And yet, if you try and check, you'll find that we have less or none that have gone, that is of the companies of the Zambian origin that have set their base in other countries. And we also looked at one critical question that most would-be entrepreneurs normally ask you to say, we are not in business, I'm not in business because I do not have capital. And capital in this case, people normally look at capital in monetary terms. And in answering that question, we looked at it from this angle to say, you know, in matters of business, you can have money, you can be given capital. But if you don't have the know-how or the knowledge on how to run a business, that money will just go just like that. And that's where we said, you know, the greatest capital in running a business is not money. It's not the money that normally runs. No, but it is the brain. You need to have a working brain. A working brain, in this case, you need to have a brain that is educated in matters of business, a brain that understands the way a business is supposed to run. And also at the same time, the brain on its own cannot run. We looked at it to say you need to have your mouth working. Mouth working in this case, you need to be a great marketer. And from the business point of view, if you critically look at business, you discover that great sellers are great innovators or great business persons. So we looked at these two critical areas to say before you talk about capital, these other areas must be satisfied. And we gave an example of, you know, the way business is run. For instance, if you are to go to Dubai, you find that there are all these shops, retail outlets. All what these people had to do was just to collect the merchandise from the suppliers, and they display them nicely in those shops, right? Such that when you go to buy these products, all they'll do is they'll tell you to say, pay, this is the amount of money you need to pay. And then from there, they'll tell you to say, we'll do the delivery probably maybe tomorrow or after 3 to 4 hours, because they know the supply chain. So what they're going to do, they'll get your money and then use your money, and then from there they make profit out of that money, and then they give you your products. So if you critically look at that one, you're going to discover that it doesn't involve much capital. You look at even some of these retail outlets, for instance from South Africa, critically, if you look at them, what they normally do, you as a supplier, you supply your products, they'll tell you to say, we'll pay you after 30 days. Paying you after 30 days, and then you rent the shelves in those outlets. Today we are going to look at why we do not have multinational companies of Zambian origin. I'm sure all of us will agree with me to say there are none or a few of some of Zambian originated companies that have gone to invest in other countries, and yet we have a lot of companies that are coming from other countries that are coming to invest in our country. This is a question that we need to answer. And if you also analyze the businesses that have sprung up in Zambia, most of them you find that they would rise up to a certain point, and then from there they'll do what, they'll vanish, or they'll do what, they'll fall. What are some of the contributing factors to that? And when I was critically analyzing this, I discovered that most of the Zambian entrepreneurs normally focus so much on making money at the expense of growing the brand. Last time we briefly touched on the issue of the brand. So most of the people normally rush into making money, that is the business side of the money, at the expense of making a brand or maybe growing the brand. Those who know the business setup, what you're supposed to do, the brand is critical to your business. And in any case, for those that are starting their businesses and those that are running their businesses, the best strategy that you can ever do in the initial years of your running of the business is to inject so much money into growing your brand. Once you grow your brand, like what the ShopRites of this world have done, the Shoppies of this world have done, and others, they have grown that brand such that now people are able to entrust them even with the products, the suppliers. They come here in this country, and because they have a name to them, then the suppliers are able to entrust them because those brands do sell. Right, which most of us would rather we deal so much on the money part. As the money is coming, we are so much focused on the part of the money. So the model of growing a brand, I know it is not something which is lucrative because it takes so many years. You have to keep on hammering, telling the people you're pumping so money. So if you critically look at most of these big companies that have sprung up, you find that they do a lot of whatever advertising. Of course, we're going to look at the detailed part of branding to say, how can you brand your company from something small into a multinational company? But I'm just looking at the importance of branding to say, once you focus on branding, you reach a point where one day, of course, your business is going to grow. And of course, not just the branding, but branding where people are able to trust your brand. And also, as you are branding, you put systems in place. A brand and also systems put in place. That is, if you grow that one to a certain level, that is what normally leads to what we call franchise. Where now you have these companies that are coming from South Africa, they have or maybe they have set their franchise here in Zambia and also in other countries, because their focus was on establishing a system that is working and also pushing their names higher. So in other words, if you want your business to grow into that of a multinational business, you need to promote it, you need to brand it. And once you promote it, you reach that level now where people know you or they know the business. When you set the business anywhere, it will be very easy for you to sell the products. And like where other people normally just rush into, okay, let me just make money without dealing with the part of the of the name of the business, or maybe, can I say, pushing the name of the business. Probably for today, we can end here. So that you can go and digest what you have learned. And in this coming week, remember this segment will be coming every Thursday on the Zip page. So every Thursday. So probably in this coming week, we are going to look at how you can grow your brand. You can grow your brand into a multinational brand. And I'll not just be speaking from just saying things point of view, but from the testimony point of view. I think those of us that have been following our brands, that is Great North Road Academy, Twalumba brands, you've seen the way we've been growing the brand. I'll tell you the mathematics that is behind the growing of brands, so that you can grow that brand, of which we're trying to work on that one. If you look at Great North Road Academy, Twalumba, we are trying to brand these such that in the next coming years, we are hoping to see probably Great North Road Academy under a franchise in some of these districts, probably, and also provinces like the Copper Belt, but not where we are there, but where somebody can even come and use the name. We create a system and then they use our names, and even grow Great North Road Academy to beyond the borders, probably even in other countries, which is possible. Learn more in this coming week.